Hey y'all, what's going on? Sorry I'm late. I'm here for Love and Hip Hop New York, season 7, episode 10, I believe. We started off with Juel Santana and Drewski, and then later on Cam shows up. Juel's he's having like an annual basketball tournament for the kids and everything, to keep them out the streets or whatever, pretty much. And Drew brings up, Sky's trust issues and everything, and he's telling Jewels about it. Like, yeah, she run through my messages, my call log, my emails, and all this other stuff. And you know what kind of irritated me this whole time when he was telling Jewels about the shit, and then later on when Cam came, like he's sitting up here like acting like as if he don't know why. Like he presenting it to them like as if he don't know why the fuck she got these trust issues. The shit ain't come from thin air, motherfucker. You know exactly why she got trust issues. But at the same time, Sky, if you gotta go through his phone and everything, you might as well just like dead this relationship now. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's not the minute you feel like you gotta go through a motherfucking phone, you might as well it just might as well be over. But anyways, so he's telling Jewels how he recorded her on his laptop. He left his phone out on purpose, and she took the bait and everything. And he shows Jewels the video, and Jewels is like, "Yo, this man is wild." And he's like, Drewski, he's like, he wants to show Sky how lame she looks or whatever. I said, "You look like a fucking lame-o, bitch." I'm sorry, y'all. He just like, oh, I don't like Drewski. I do not fucking like him at all. And I just don't like the way he treats Sky. And then on top, but at the same time, it still just kind of reverts back to how she got with him in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can't feel too sorry for her, but it's just like, oh, he is such a fucking pig. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, Joel says that him and Kim Bella, they've been through it all and blah blah blah. And next thing you know, Cam he shows up and Drew wants to know how to make things work and everything, with Sky. And Cam is like, with me and Juju, we were friends first and everything, and we just continue to spice things up in our relationship or whatever. And then Drew gonna sit up here talking about something he wanna be with Sky, but he not sure if he could get over her trust issues. Like as if you didn't create the shit. Okay, Drew. All right. All right. All right. Like, oh my god. But anyways, okay. So later on in the episode, Sky she comes in the apartment pissed off about the recording because this motherfucker had the audacity to post it on social media. I'm like, really, Drew? Really, Drew? Really, Drew? Really? You know what I'm saying? Like social media, it was already lame for you to sit up here and record her or whatever, but then to post it on social media to embarrass her like that, like what kind of fucking man are you? And she's asking him why would he tape her and all this other stuff, and he was like, I just wanted to show you how crazy you look. Okay, even if you did that, you didn't have to post that shit on social media for everybody to see to humiliate her like that. But anyway, so she was like, you should have talked to me and this, that, and the third, and yada yada yada. And she tells him, like, he asked her, do you trust me or not? And she was like, you know what, no, I don't trust you or whatever. When you sitting up here in the hotel room with the bitch in her bra and underwears and stuff, and talking about how you don't know how you got here and stuff, yeah, I don't really trust you for real. And she's pretty much telling him about himself, and she walks out, whatever. Child, I can't with them. But anyways, moving on from that, let's talk about the Creep Squad. So we get Rich and Peter. Peter, he's trying to butter up Rich and everything by bringing him to like this car lot or whatever, so he could kind of convince Rich to talk to Cisco. Peter is telling him about the meeting that he had with Cisco and everything, and Rich is like, Peter is, telling him about how he's going through all this stuff and how nobody really kind of bothered to ask him what he was going through and everything. And Rich is like, so pushing people away is the answer, huh? And Peter is like, yeah, I realized that I didn't ask him what he was going through or what was going on with him, this, that, and the third. And, he talks about Cisco's mom and everything. And, Rich, he understands, what Cisco is going through and everything, but he still feels like it isn't right for him to violate the bros. The bro code. I ride for my guys. That's the bro code. But no, for real, he feel like, he feels like it's not right and everything. And I understand, whatever. But Rich, I feel like y'all both did some questionable shit to each other. But anyway, so Rich feels like that, Cisco is full of shit and that he gonna keep on violating, and especially the fact that, one of their falling outs was over a girl and everything. And, Rich is calling him a scorpion. And at the same time, he's making a correlation with frogs and all this, bullshit or whatever. And then Peter is like, I mean, what are you talking about? He's a Capricorn. Neither one of y'all motherfuckers know what the fuck y'all talking about, because if y'all watched the Check Yourself thing that they got on VH1, where they watched the show back, Cisco is like, I don't know what either one of them are talking about. I'm a Cancer. That would explain why he's sensitive and why he's such a fucking asshole. If you a Cancer out there, don't get offended. I got friends and, family and stuff that's Cancers and everything, so yeah, don't, get offended. Like, Cancers are cool people. It's just that, like, some of them that I know are kind of sensitive and assholes all, mixed together. But, yeah, so, anyways, moving on from that, we get Major Galore. And this, ties into the storyline with the Creep Squad. She's rehearsing in the Lord's house for the Powerhouse. I said, I mean, girl, you couldn't have went anywhere. I mean, you could have went anywhere. I mean, damn, on the goddamn street would have been better than to be practicing in the church. Like, girl, really? I was just like, what the hell is this? But anyway, so she invites Cisco for his input or whatever, and she kind of digging him. She feeling him and all this other stuff. He feeling her. She mentions DJ Self and how she's working with him and she's trying to get right for Powerhouse so she can take the spot instead of Mariah. And Cisco, he don't give a fuck about Self working with her. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. He doesn't give a fuck about Self working with her after he tried to throw him out the Creep Squad and all this other stuff. And he also feels like Mariah Lynn deserves a little bit of payback too. And he starts spilling the tea on her and everything. I see, Cisco, you a motherfucking chatty patty. Okay, always running your goddamn mouth. Okay, so he's spilling the tea on Mariah Lynn or whatever. And he's saying how he would used to put food in her fridge to help her out and all this other stuff. And he was like, I was trying to feed you. I was trying to help your bony ass out and all this other stuff. I felt some type of way because y'all know I'm skinny too. I'm just saying, but whatever. Yeah. And so pretty much he got Major Galore's back. So moving on from that, we get DJ Self. This is the battle for the Powerhouse position. Major Galore, she goes first or whatever. And she starts doing her song and she ends up fucking up. And she was like, hold up, run the track back. I'm sorry or whatever. I said, see, the Lord rebuked you for rehearsing in his house. I'm just saying. But anyway, so, Mariah Lynn, she goes up next or whatever. And I wasn't too impressed with her performance neither. It's just like the same bullshit with her, you know what I'm saying? Like, child, whatever. Dressed like Lady Gaga. I ain't learned the words or whatever. I wish I could have memorized the words for y'all, because it just, y'all know how Mariah Lynn do. But anyways, so Self, he's not impressed with Major Galore or whatever. He felt like she was under rehearsed and all this other stuff. He was okay with Mariah Lynn's performance, but really he just kind of like with the both of them. So Rich and Peter, they're there as well, and Rich is giving his opinion. He feels like Major Galore's record was better, but Mariah Lynn had stage presence. Major Galore, she comes over to introduce herself, and then Mariah Lynn shows up, and Self, he asks Rich for his opinion again, trying to stir the motherfucking pot, knowing damn well him and Mariah Lynn don't mesh. And Rich, he says the same thing that he said, just 2 seconds ago. And Self is like, see, that's compliment or whatever. And Mariah's like, thank you or whatever. And Self is like, she said thank you. And he like, okay, like the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And anyway, Self, he gives his opinion or whatever, and then he gives Major Galore his opinion on her first and everything about how about the stage presence and all this other stuff. And then Mariah Lynn, she decides to hop her Humpty Dumpty ass in the conversation, talking about everybody has to start somewhere. She talks about her performance last year, how she was in the same position as Major, and how they have different levels of artistry. I'm just like, when it comes to y'all, there are no levels. Y'all are on the same fucking floor, okay? You know what I'm saying? But anyways, Major Galore says, Mariah's outfit looks like she got a diaper butt, and Mariah was like, she didn't know if Major Galore was a rapper or a singer, and Major Galore calls her broke, and why motherfuckers gotta put groceries in your fridge and everything. And Peter like, hold on, where you hear that from? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, Cisco. And Peter's like, man, why is this dude? I just had a conversation with this dude. Why is he in the center of everybody's drama? I said, I'm with you, Peter, but he stays out of it though. He ain't dumb. You know what I'm saying? So, Major and Mariah, they going back and forth. Next thing you know, Major throws a drink in Mariah's face, and they trying to hit each other and all this other stuff. Woo doo woo doo woo. They still going back and forth. Mariah Lynn, was sitting up here talking about, if Cisco's same sweater wearing having ass don't keep my name out his mouth. I said, that motherfucker do be wearing the same sweaters, don't he? He do, he just kind of got the same generic look to him. You know what I'm saying? That shit was funny. But anyways, so moving on from that, we get Rich and Cisco. They're at the basketball, where they decide to meet up at the basketball court and everything. Rich is on one end of the gate. Cisco is on the other side, I should say, or whatever. And Rich brings up the conversation with Peter. And, next thing you know, Rich is like, we sitting up here arguing, like, over motherfucking Mariah Lynn and all this other stuff. And, how Cisco pushing them away, pushing him away and all this other stuff. No, I'm sorry. He's bringing up everything that Cisco has done. He talks about the whole situation with Mariah. Then he brings up how Cisco pushed him or whatever without a warning, and now you do the shit that you do to Peter, and then now the shit with DJ Self and everything, and how the shit is looking crazy, and when he gonna take responsibility. And Cisco is like, I'm here, ain't I? I'm admitting my wrongs and everything, but don't sit up here and act like as if you squeaky clean, Rich Dollars and all this other stuff, because you got your shit with you too, and yada 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 and all this stuff. Like, don't throw stones at me. And so then so Cisco, I had to read my notes. Cisco is, saying that, if you knew that something was up with me or whatever, why didn't you pull me to the side and all this other stuff and have a conversation with me? And he was like that Rich was pretty much like, fuck me and all this other stuff. And, Rich is like, he would never let him fall and all this other stuff, but now his bitches getting involved, thinking that, that they split us up and all this other stuff. And I find it kind of strange that they don't never bring up the Diamond Strawberry situation where that's where the jump off was. That's where the shit first started. They stay bringing up Mariah Lynn, but they don't never bring up the Diamond Strawberry situation. But anyways, he's like, but they're drunk. He was like that the both of them drowning. You know what I'm saying? And he was like that he can't let Cisco, drown him anymore. And then he, grabs Cisco by his head and everything. And he says, "Stop drowning me, man. Stop drowning me." And they hugging and all this carrying on and all this other stuff. I said, oh, boy. This is more dramatic than the shit with Cisco and Peter last week. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I had a little bit of a soft spot. But then I just started laughing like I'm doing right now because it's kind of hard to take them seriously. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, Rich, he ends up letting him go and he walks off or whatever. And they both are, I guess, reflecting on what the fuck just happened. So, Self, Mariah, and Major Galore have yet another meeting that yet Self had no control over whatsoever. I don't know how the fuck you gonna be trying to manage artists and everything and you can't control them or whatever. He's trying to, have a conversation with them. Mariah's like, I had a drink thrown on me, whatever. And then Major Galore is like, she looked hot or whatever. Like, she needed to cool down and everything. So Mariah, she had the water bottle ready. She took it out her bag and said, "You need to cool down, bitch," and all this other stuff, throwing the water and blah, blah, blah. Self, he tells them both to sit the fuck down and everything, and that they both need to apologize to each other. They both give a fake-ass apology. He wants to know how Cisco, the guy in the mix, yet again. And, Major Galore pretty much tells them what Cisco told her about Mariah Lynn and everything. And, Mariah is like, he probably only did that to spite me and Self. And, by, using you and everything. And so this when Major, she's sitting up here calling him, now it's Bisco. It ain't Cisco no more, it's Bisco now. And all this other stuff. And he realizes that, Bisco used her and, to get back at them. I'm like, bingo. Like, the fuck? It don't take a rocket scientist to figure that shit out. But anyways, she's sitting up here saying how her loyalty is with the Gwenin and how they gonna take her career to the top or whatever. I'm just like, to the top of where? Child, but okay. Anyway, so let's go back to I'm not even gonna talk about Jay and Snoop because I really don't give a fuck. I just don't. So let's talk about the whole Yandy and Erica Samantha, that whole, situation. So we're at Asim's 5th birthday party. Erica, Samantha, it's Erica's son, so of course she gonna be there. But Samantha is also there, and it was so cute how Asim was so happy to see Lil Mendices and everything. They all hugging and all this other stuff. Erica knows that somebody told Yandy about the birthday party regardless of whether they communicate or not and all this other stuff. Samantha is like, she doesn't want to be a part of the unity and all this other stuff, and how, she's just another unmarried baby mama. Kim, she's there staying out of the way. Judy shows up, and Erica wants to go outside to talk to her and everything, and then Samantha for some reason follows. Why? But anyway, so Erica, is asking about Yandy's kids and everything. Judy is like, they weren't invited, and Erica was like, who said they weren't invited, and all this other stuff. Erica feels like that is Judy's obligation, as a grandmother, to try to get, get everybody together and everything, this, that, and the third. And Erica is baffled at Judy because, she feels like that she knows the bullshit that Yandy is on and everything. And, Samantha asks Judy, did you know about Yandy and Mendices not being married? And Judy, she got thrown off. She like, what? Like, what you talking about? And everything, this, that, and the third. And Samantha's like, yes or no? Like, it's, like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? And Judy is like, do you want to be married? And Samantha's like, no, I don't. And Judy is like, I'm not about to answer that foolishness or whatever. As far as I'm concerned, she's, at this point, she's saying this in her confessional. As far as she's concerned, Yandy and Mendices is married. They're not, but okay. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. So pretty much she's like, I'm here for the kids and blah, blah, blah. I'm not here for, to talk about Yandy and all this other stuff. So moving on from that, Yandy and Judy, they have a conversation. Judy talks about the birthday party and Yandy is like, what? Like, I didn't, nobody told me about it, this, that, and the third. And I'm kind of like, well, why didn't Judy tell her? You know what I'm saying? And she's so close to Yandy and all this other stuff, like, why didn't she tell her? But, she showed up, she was there, but, I mean, okay, whatever. But, Judy talks about her being ambushed or whatever by, Erica and Samantha. Yandy, is trying to play dumb at first when Judy brings up the whole, her and Mendices not being married and all this other stuff. Judy says, me and Mendices already had a conversation about that, this, that, and the third. Yandy talking about some, oh, I got a problem now. And I'm just like, girl, bad. But anyways, she tells, Judy about Samantha's best friend and, how they was plotting and scheming and was going to make up cheating rumors against her and Mendices and, how Samantha says that they got to keep the kids away from Yandy and, until till the story hits the blog so they don't end up looking crazy. All that shit that came out and all this other stuff. And like I said before, I see through Yandy's bullshit just like a lot of other people that do, the reviews for Love and Hip Hop. They see through Yandy's bullshit. But at the same time, Erica and Samantha, y'all still made yourselves look bad too. You know what I'm saying? Ain't none of y'all is looking good right now. None of y'all. Because y'all so consumed in making each other look bad, exposing this one, exposing that one, and y'all not really focusing on the kids. But anyways, moving on from that, Samantha, she's in the back of the truck like how Erica was a few episodes ago. And Mendices calls her this time. And he's like, I hear you got a problem with Yandy. You know what I'm saying? And how she's teaming up with Erica and all this other stuff. And he's like, and Samantha is like, he has not once called me since he's been locked up and everything. But now he calling me about some shit dealing with Erica and Yandy. I'm thinking he calling about Lil Mendices and all this other stuff. And then he reminds, Samantha about how him and Erica hooked up and everything while Samantha was pregnant and how Erica didn't care and he was like, now y'all out here like sister wives and all this other stuff. And she's like, why don't you talk about Lil Mendices and everything, what's going on with him? You keep on coming at me with this bullshit or whatever with Erica and Yandy. And, Samantha is like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. That shit happened 10 years ago. You cheated on all of us if we want to keep it real. I say, okay, Samantha, I mean, she got a point. But, at this point, she just not letting him talk or whatever. And I kind of don't blame her. Yeah, I would have been cutting his ass off too. But anyways, the last scene of the episode, Yandy decides to pop up on Erica about the messages and everything, and Erica is acting dumb, like she don't know what Yandy talking about, and Erica is like, they don't know that Samantha is on her way right now, and yada yada yada. Yandy talks about the plots to set her up and everything, and how Erica was going to keep Asim and Lil Mendices away from her, and Erica was like, I can't keep a child away that ain't mine. And all this other stuff. And Erica was like, she could say anything to anybody's face or whatever, it's not a problem. Samantha pops up and everything. You know, they feel like that they brainwashing Samantha. I mean, that Erica is brainwashing Samantha and all this other stuff. And you know, Judy is like, "Did you tape Erica's conversation with you?" And Samantha was like, "I take conversations that me and you had together too, Judy," and all this other stuff. And Samantha says that she did it because, you know, to protect her family, and how all of these biffers, as Alexander Rogers would say, you know, were like, you know, like to bend the truth and everything. So she did it to, you know, whatever. But at the same time, like I said, it still makes y'all look bad, because the majority of the viewing audience is just completely on Yandy's side. They not even neutral. They just completely on Yandy's side. You feel what I'm saying? And they are, you know, they already feel some type of way towards y'all. Y'all really didn't help y'all case, in my opinion. But anyway, so Erica's like, y'all trying to break up a friendship and all this other stuff, and Yandy like, I don't want this friendship y'all got going on. And Samantha like, I don't want to be friends with you either, bitch, and all this other stuff. And no, I'm sorry, she didn't call her a bitch at this point. Yandy is like, but you want my money though, that you begged for and everything. And she was like, Samantha was like, yeah, the money that Mendeecees owe me, not your money, and all this other stuff. And Yandy is like, oh, so you admit that you didn't give it back and everything. And Samantha was like, give what back, bitch? You know, and all this other stuff. And Yandy like, did you just call me a bitch and everything? You know, trying to reach over for Samantha and shit. And Samantha, you know, kind of mushes her hand out the way and tells her that she do not want it with her, and security grabbing them both. And I was like, ooh, Yandy, you getting real ballsy, child. You getting real ballsy. But anyways, that was the episode. I'm sorry this is a long review, but I hope you guys make it to the end. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you guys come back, and I'll see you guys in the next video.